Donald Trump is in full scramble mode right now. The panic coming out of the White House has never been more obvious, and he's practically showing it off himself. He's firing off unhinged threats at reporters, governors, Republicans, anyone in his line of sight. And he's making sure the whole world can see it by posting it all on Truth Social. His latest post is a completely deranged threat coming right as a major resignation bombshell has exploded his term. His meltdown could not be clearer. And we're going to break it all down. But before we get into the frantic and desperate message Trump just blasted out on Truth Social, we need to look at why he's so panicked in the first place. Because his presidency has been an absolute embarrassment. And Jasmine Crockett made that point perfectly right here.
Administration is they have made everything worse. Like, it was bad the first time, so bad that he got kicked out of office, and then unfortunately America got amnesia, and somehow he ended up back in office, and now he is literally terrorizing everyone, from children that are born in this country to children that aren't born in this country to adults. It is really sickening, and if we are really going to get back to where we are truly great in this country, it is going to take really looking at your neighbors and seeing their humanity. He was able to dehumanize people during the election, whether it was trans folk or whether it was the immigrant. He dehumanized. And if you study anything about the Nazis, that is where it all starts, is the dehumanization. And none of us should be sitting by, even if we're not trans, even if we're not an immigrant. You have to understand that the dehumanization will come in for black folk. It will come in for women. It will come in for everyone, and that is why we unfortunately got here. But if we recognize where we went wrong, hopefully we can get back on track and recognize that our strength lies in our unity, because there's so many more of us than there are of them, this hateful, venomous regime that we're living under right now.
Everything has gotten worse under Donald Trump. This is a man who came in promising to fix everything on day one, yet the exact opposite has happened. Trump didn't preserve the strong economy Joe Biden left him. He wrecked it. And for anyone saying, well, Trump promised more, but things are just the same, that's simply not true. He tanked it all. Everything is undeniably, dramatically worse. There is no honest argument that anything has improved for anyone who isn't already a billionaire deeply connected to this administration or carrying the Trump last name while raking in millions through crypto scams and insider trading. It's obvious, and the polling makes that clear.
Well, take a look. These are all November polls. The best one of the group puts him at 14 points underwater. That's the Marquette University Law School poll, tied for the worst he's ever had in that poll. Fox, 17 points underwater. Maris, 17 points underwater. The Reuters Ipsos poll, 22 points underwater. And then taking the cake, the AP North poll, 26 points underwater. When your best poll has you still 14 points underwater, you know it's truly bad, and it's as bad as 26 points underwater. We're talking about an average well underwater with the deep blue sea, swimming with the fishes.
And now this is all parties here. If you think this is bad, Harry.
If you think this is bad, what is driving these horrific numbers for Donald Trump? Well, why don't we take a look at independents? Trump's net approval rating with independents. Back in January, he was close to even. He was at -4 points. Not great, but not terrible. Look at this number. 43 points underwater with independents in the most recent average of these polls. When you have 43 points underwater with independents, you know you're doing terribly. You can't win with this. If this holds for next year's midterm election, wave adios amigos, goodbye, see you later to that House Republican majority and that Senate Republican majority, very much in danger as well. When you take a look at the Pew Research validated voter survey going back to last year, he was basically even among independents with Kamala Harris. Now he is 43 points underwater. Whatever he is doing with independents, it ain't working. They despise him at this point.
That is just a colossal drop.
Oh my God, it's a 40-point move.
Okay, that's among certain political groups here. How about what issues may be driving this?
Okay, yeah, so we say that independents are driving Trump's decline overall. but what is pushing independents and the rest of the electorate away from Donald Trump? Away from Donald Trump. John Berman, move out of this screen. Away from Donald Trump. Well, it has everything to do with inflation. It's the cost of living, baby. That is the name of the game. You go back to January, he was 3 points above water. This was the reason why that voters gave him a second term. You look at this. Now, 34 points underwater. My goodness gracious, that is a 37-point move in the wrong direction.
It is pretty obvious to everyone paying attention, and everyone paying attention is pissed because Donald Trump's administration is worse than we honestly could have ever imagined. It's revealing itself in the polling, and it's revealing itself in elections that we just had earlier in November. And that's not the only run of elections that Donald Trump's got to worry about, because there are more special elections coming up. And of course, one of them is going to be taking place on Tuesday in Tennessee. Now, this is a district that Donald Trump won by 22 points, and the Republican, the member of Congress who left this seat open, did so with the resignation after he helped Donald Trump pass what is the most unpopular piece of legislation, his one big, beautiful bill, to come out of either of his terms. So Donald Trump saw the resignation of a Republican member of Congress who thought that his seat was safe for the next Republican because he was so disgusted and done with Donald Trump after passing his bill that he decided, I'm going to go find myself a little work in the private sector. And he thought all would be well, but all isn't well. A seat that Donald Trump won a year ago by 22 points has been moved so far to the left by Donald Trump's horrible budget, his disgusting administration, his devastating attacks on cities all across this country, that this seat, Donald Trump is trying to threaten his way to victory. In this insane post right here, Trump wrote on True Social, I am asking all America First patriots in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District who haven't voted yet to please get out and vote on Election Day, Tuesday, December 2nd, for a phenomenal candidate, Matt Van Apps. Matt is fighting against a woman who hates Christianity. Here comes the threats. We'll take away your guns. Wants open borders. Transgender for everybody. Men and women's sports. And openly disdains country music. She said all of those things precisely and without question. It's on tape. Do not take this race for granted. The radical left Democrats are spending a fortune to beat one of the best candidates we've ever had, Matt Van Epps. You can win this election for Matt. Get out and vote for Matt Van Epps, who has my complete and total endorsement. He will never let you down. Never forget, there was once a man named Donald Trump who swore he would never let Republicans down. And now, those same Republicans are furious with him. I also find it hilarious that Trump thinks claiming Afton Bain, who, by the way, is an outstanding candidate we'll hear from in a moment, supposedly hates country music and despises MAGA, is some kind of major attack. None of that is even true. But what makes it funnier is that no one holds more contempt for Trump supporters than Donald Trump himself. He openly thinks his own base is fat, ugly, and stupid, things that are actually true about him, and he sees them as gullible suckers. That's why he's such a shameless grifter. Do you think he behaves that way because he respects the intelligence of the people backing him? Of course not. He thinks they're easy marks, and honestly, if you're still falling for Donald Trump's nonsense in the year 2025, I'm sorry for the language, but you really are being a big dummy, so Trump absolutely looks down on his own supporters, which makes it hilarious that this is the angle he's using to attack an incredible candidate. And trust me, this might be one of the most important races we've had since Trump first got elected up through the midterms. Whatever the ranking, what matters is that you're going to want to hear from this incredible candidate.
This race is competitive is because the Washington Republican agenda of delivering an economy that works for everyone has not delivered. And I think it's hilarious that Republicans and their billionaire friends are trying to spend millions to save a seat that they should win without thinking. But if we flip this seat, it will send a national message that the Republican Party needs to get serious about lowering healthcare costs.
But before we dive into some of those aspects in your race, I do want to get your views on your party, because there's been a debate since last year about the way forward in the party and the like, and voters still have a very low opinion of Democrats per many public polls. Even one recent poll showed that just 29% of Americans have a favorable view of Democrats. So what about your view about your party and your party's leaders, specifically about your party's leaders? Do you have confidence in your party's leaders?
Well, I've been running this race as a Democrat that cares about affordability, and I think that's what's going to win it for us. I think that there is a new generation of leadership in the party, and especially from the South, where we want to see Democratic leaders that step up, especially in moments like this that require a fearless, bold leadership, and that's what I'm offering the district, and I think it's resonating with voters.
If you had a chance to, would you vote for Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker?
We represent very different districts, and I've got 48 hours to flip a congressional district and really send a message to Washington, like I said, that they need to get serious about healthcare costs. Honestly, I haven't thought about it, but I want to say that I have been really grateful as someone who has organized in the South her entire life. I've been very grateful for the national support in this race. Tennessee is often a state that is overlooked and disinvested in, and to see national surrogates and national supporters providing monetary support and jumping in, it really means a lot to all of us. We welcome it all.
Yeah, speaking of that, because we are seeing both sides sending these big name surrogates in these final hours before Tuesday, and tomorrow, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is holding a tele-rally for you. Are you in line with her ideologically?
Like I said, I think that there is a strain of the Democratic Party that cares about holding corporations accountable and lowering costs for working families. And my politics are in alignment of that. As a state legislator, I've worked to eliminate Tennessee's regressive grocery tax. As an organizer, I work to make healthcare more affordable in the state of Tennessee. And so I think those are the Democratic leaders and candidates that I really resonate with, are those that are trying to lower costs for working families.
This is exactly the kind of Democrat we need right now. Even if this were just a typical congressional race, this is the sort of candidate our party should be uplifting. And in a district that supported Donald Trump by such a huge margin, flipping it would send a powerful message. It could even trigger more resignations and push us closer to Mike Johnson losing his gavel before the midterms, which would be absolutely incredible. So we have to keep pushing. This race matters so much, and you can still get involved. We're going to keep covering it. If you want to support that, don't forget to hit subscribe, drop a like, and if you made it to the end, leave a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.